What's something you did during sex that was so stupid you still facepalm about it today? Not me, but my freshman year roommate brought a lady home from the bar and asked me if I could give him the room. I knew he was a virgin and the woman seemed consenting and wanting me to take off too. I happily obliged. However, about 10 paces down the hall I heard my roommate scream Mortal Kombat. I turned back towards my room. The lady was hurriedly leaving, and as I walked in I saw my roommate totally naked. I asked, did you just strip and yell Mortal Kombat as soon as I left? He replied that he had. I was like, okay bro, let's have a chat. Still cracks me up to this day. I have to set this one up a little. There's a Wendy's near my old house that my girlfriend and I would go to because it was close and we both enjoy Wendy's well enough, but we were disappointed to find out it was closed for remodeling for several months. Well, time passed and I drove past it to find out it had reopened. Hooray. Well, my girlfriend and I were in the middle of a sexy time and I wanted to last a little longer, so I started thinking fairly neutral thoughts to help distract, but not distract too much. And that's when it hit me that I had wanted to tell her that the Wendy's had reopened. The fact that this stupid thought just decided to pop up in that moment made me snicker a little out loud. My girlfriend heard it and looked up at me with a nervous smile and asked, is everything alright? And I looked at her straight in the eyes because I knew there was no getting around it and blurted out, Wendy's is open. Needless to say, we both started laughing and couldn't finish after that. Wendy's is open is still a line we say to each other these several years later. I know she'll read this, so I just want to say that I love you, Bloom. Well, I'm a French guy, and it was like the third time I had sex in English, so not my mother tongue. The girl was asking for me to spank her really bad, but it wasn't enough. She was on my bed, ass up face down. I looked at my belt on my desk and said to myself, yeah, this will do the trick. So I asked her this stupid question, do you want me to use my seat belt? She stopped moaning and then looked back and stared at me. At that moment I realized what I just said, and I swear I could see in her eyes that she wondered how I would get a freaking car in my room to spank her with a seatbelt. Was really funny though. With my first girlfriend I wore a condom about 2 sizes too big, had really amazing sex, then realized to my utter horror that the condom had slipped off. I said nothing. I looked around, to no avail. I prayed to the sweet Lord that what I knew to be true was only the stuff of biblical tests of strength and faith, nothing more than a horrible metaphor. But the truth became undeniable when I suddenly saw the tail end peeking out from betwixt my lady's lips. Shame and indignity fell upon me, but with the last little spark of hope left within me, I whispered sweet nothings to her in a desperate attempt to distract her from the moment. I yanked that son of a bee out of her like the pull cord on a lawnmower. She noticed, and that is why I don't front on people with rubbers and just buy my real size. This was a bit of misunderstanding, but when my boyfriend and I first got together, I was going to give him a blowjob, so I took the gum out of my mouth, and I thought I put it in the trash bin. I did not. After we finished I went to the bathroom and saw gum all over my hair. I guess it was still on my hand when I put my hair up with a hair tie. So I said, man, this takes me back to my childhood, referring to the gum stuck in my hair. When I walked back into his room, his face had changed from happy bliss to complete concern. After a pause he finally says he was so sorry and that we didn't have to do that again. He hadn't seen the gum in my hair. He thought I was talking about a childhood filled with blowjobs. Once we figured out the mix-up, he was still a bit shaken by my childhood. One girl I was with in high school was on top, and I had to fart real bad. I wasn't sure what to do, so I just tried to hold it in. She started to get more into it and picked up the pace, which caused a series of tiny rhythmic farts every time she came down. It sounded like a machine gun. She stopped and asked if I farted, and I blamed the squeaky bed. She knew. Sex with a bald girl. I'm hitting from the back, and I'm super horny, and in the moment I couldn't think of an alternative to hair pulling, so I just grabbed her head like a fucking basketball. She starts dying laughing immediately. She, who's very insecure, queefs very loud and leans forward, looks back at me, lip shaking like she's going to cry. I'm not grossed out or anything, but I do kinda feel bad for her. I seized this opportunity to let out a fart that I'd been holding in and followed up with "It's okay, I do it too sometimes." It was unsuccessful. She just started bawling. A girl invited me over to her house to watch the Wonder Woman movie. While we are watching it, she starts kissing on me and teasing me. I said, "What about the movie?" She says to me, "Come on to the bedroom, it'll be better than the movie." And while we are going at it, she says, "See, isn't this better than the movie?" And before I could catch myself, I said, "I don't know, I haven't seen the rest of the movie." An old girlfriend of mine said she wanted to be slapped while we were going at it. After 100% ensuring she really wanted to be slapped, I slapped her. I missed her cheek and smacked her right in the nose. She yelled, "Ow, freak," but thankfully didn't hold it against me. I was nervous around my first college crush. After a few weeks of talking, I finally got her into my room. We were on my bed making out, getting touchy-feely. I realized pretty quickly that she wasn't wearing any panties under her short shorts. I looked down and said, "I can see your vag, AJ." She laughed awkwardly, said she had to go, and we never spoke romantically again. In college, my girlfriend was riding me in my dark bedroom summer night. She was vigorously gyrating that I could feel her sweat dripping on me. Afterward we kissed and cuddled. When we turned on the light, we discovered she had a bloody nose and her blood was all over my neck and chest. Not me, but a very good friend of mine had the total hots for a girl, had been working on getting her interested for the longest time, took her out, wined and dined her, got her finally to come back to his place, put some nice music on, candles, wine, setting a lovely mood. They were making out. Clearly, things were about to happen. She took off her top, exposing what he now describes as spectacular and exquisite alabaster breasts, and he exclaimed in giddy surprise, "Oh god, they're massive. Like an absolute moron to the gods of boobies." Which of course, she was not bowled over by. She started crying, pulled her top back on and left. It's been 20 odd years, he still brings it up whenever he has a remorse boner. My girlfriend a while ago liked to do the ice cube cup of tea blowjob trick. One night we didn't have any ice cubes, only a bag of frozen peas. She went down on me with a mouthful, and it turns out that peas in the mouth defrost really fast. After about 20 seconds she choked and coughed blowjob mushy peas all over me and my new sheets. Improvise, adapt, overcome. I used to be terrified of premature ejaculation. Like, to the point I could get it up in the first place, and if I did, then I obviously immediately ejaculated. What I didn't realize is that 99% of women will just take this as a big compliment. As long as you are willing to continue engaging with them, you will have a much more lasting round 2 in about 30 seconds. My biggest mistake was getting insecure about normal sexual behavior and being defensive instead of complimentary. I finally found my confidence in my 30s, and if there's one single piece of advice I could give young men trying to get some, it's this: be nice. As long as you respect your partner and aren't under any situation going to feel weird afterwards about what you want to do with them, then most women just want to be treated kindly. It's not a huge life commitment. It's just two people enjoying each other, so be nice. That is all. I did a porn audition. I was all ready, but meant to get my nails done beforehand. I looked at Walmart for a quick solution and found glue on acrylic nails. I had never used them before, but the box said they'd hold up to 2 weeks. Fast forward to the audition, and it started off with me masturbating on the couch. I was rubbing my clit, and I felt the nails start to pop off one by one. I tried not to panic and go with it. When I moved my hand, I had a bunch of false nails stuck to my vagina. He was recording the whole time. I awkwardly laughed and asked to take them off and redo the shoot. But the embarrassment affected my performance and I just came off as extremely awkward. I got an email a few days later thanking me for they had not laughed like that in a long time. They said they didn't think I'd fit the part, but asked if they could pay me for the segment to use in, for lack of a better term, a blooper reel. I haven't auditioned anywhere else since, and don't plan to. Pretty much ruined it for me, but at least I can laugh about it now instead of being completely mortified. Freshman year of college. Got to drinking with some of our dorm mates and went to a concert. One of them was pretty into me and we were dancing and hooking up, and then decided to go back to our dorm to hook up. We were leaning over like halfway off the bed and making out. Her back was arched over the bed and I scooted too far forward and literally flipped her heels overhead off of the bed and onto her plastic nightstand, smashing it. We carried on and got things done, but in the morning I had to take her to the walk-in clinic because she was in pain and both of her dermal piercings came out and it was gross. She also got stabbed by the broken plastic from the nightstand. Turns out she broke 2 ribs. So yeah, I basically supplexed a girl and still got laid. Having sex while standing, holding GF face to face, and supporting her off the ground with my arms under her legs. Yeah, you have to have some strength to do this. So she's all into this new position, and my arms are getting tired, so I have the idea to walk forward and put her back against the wall. Except it was the patio sliding glass door. In January, which was freezing cold. Bare GF back against a cold piece of glass. Nope. That definitely broke the mood.